Hi, my name is Anne, and today we'll be commentating over my tempered new Udra Sword and Shield speedrun using TO Wiki rules. It's a 237. Let's get some disclaimers out of the way real quick. I do all of these commentaries in one take. I just pause and unpause the video as we go and use that time to try to explain what my thought process is in fighting the monster. Next disclaimer, TO Wiki rules. If you've seen my last couple videos, you'd know that it just bans a bunch of things. No mantles, no cats, no traps, no environmental interactions, flash pods, barrel bombs, heroics, all that stuff's banned. So it takes a little bit longer. It's a little bit different for freestyle runs, but they're still pretty cool runs. I've been really enjoying learning how to run this category. And yeah, this time I'm actually pretty happy with the run. I think the time is pretty good, and I'm seeing some pretty good improvement at my gameplay and my routing ideas. So I'm happy with this one. I think new Udra is a pretty interesting monster to speedrun, and if you're interested in learning speedrunning and Sword and Shield, new Udra is actually a pretty decent matchup because he's somewhat predictable. He has a bunch of canned stuff he does at the beginning of the fight, and yeah, it goes pretty smoothly. Um, the set this time is going to be a 4-piece score set. I generally think in this patch that is about to be irrelevant, the 4-piece score is pretty good. You can see the full set at the end of the video. But again, Title Update 1 is going to release after this, so things could change. I would wait and see what my sets are going to be afterwards and what the community sets are going to be before like really latching onto these set ideas. You can see all the buffs were consumed beforehand, Mega Demon Drug, Demon Powder, Might Seed, stuff like that. I have the Suja Meal going on. That's just how things go. I'm missing a little bit of stamina because I was just kind of just spamming runs to keep practice, keep myself warmed up, things like that. And yeah, we can actually get to gameplay now. So open with the ambush, and we're going to go directly into a canned opener. I have this timed in a way, and this is a good way to construct our openers, is I do chop chop, lateral lateral, round slash, chop, and then just hold guard. And this auto times versus his roar off my ambush. There's a slight variance based on things like hit stop and how the sneak attack actually hits, but this is hyper consistent. If you want to start to construct openers, figure out ways to maximize the damage while having a can timing where you just auto guard every time and just don't have to think about it. It's really great. I highly suggest that as particularly for newer players to construct your openers in such a way. So I see him raise his arm to do this little tentacle slam. If you can see my mouse cursor, he's going to slam down on an angle like this. There are a few different ways to deal with this. You have a bunch of defensive options, but the one I opt to do is to just chop combo my way out of it, because this allows me to maintain damage uptime, put myself directly in his face. I don't have to waste time on the longer sliding slash animation. I am already in offensive guard from the roar. I don't need to deal with any of this. I feel like this is an optimal way to show that chop movement can give you really good uptime and really great damage. Okay, so after he does that slam, he always opens with that slam whenever I sneak attack him. I don't know if that is always the case, but in all of my runs, that's how he works. And then he always does this little tentacle slap afterwards as well. So I perfect guard the first hit of this. Again, offensive guard's up, get a counter slash in, and then I roll the second hit. I don't have time to actually do a guard and guard this after that first hit, just because of the spacing I'm in. If the spacing is different, I will have time to do that, and that's better than doing this roll. But I really, really, really need to avoid getting hit by this, because if he hits you with this and knocks you back, he's going to go into an attack where he like spews flames across the floor at you from across the room, and that's not what I want to see. I want to see him do his body slam instead. So I need to avoid getting hit by this. And if you avoid getting hit by this, he does the body slam like every time. It leads to some really consistent routing. And here's the body slam. Here's where the routing gets a little bit funky. Now I can let the second body slam come down, perfect guard it, get a counter slash, and start wailing on this part of the head. But whenever he rears up like this, there's a little gap right here, and you can actually sliding slash underneath this gap and end up at his back. Getting to the back of this monster can actually be really annoying. So using this opportunity to go ahead and get back here, get access to the tempered wound that's back here, and start stacking damage on a decent hit zone, I'm going to go ahead and take that early in this routing. And bam, we're going to be right here. It's great. It's lovely. Once you deal enough damage to this thing while it's on fire, I don't know if it's just damage or water damage. I'm an idiot. Somebody can tell me. I think it's just damage. He gets all wiggly and he falls over. Again, I'm planned for this. So this is now an open target and want to keep stacking damage. Go into a chop combo, because again, I know he's going down. And we'll go ahead and pop this wound pretty quickly. Again, I stopped to hit these other hit zones, despite number sucks, but oh well. Because again, I want to extend the amount of time he's down. So if he's already down and I pop the tempered wound, then that's like downtime I'm actually losing. That's why I take a couple of extra hits on the tentacles. And now he's down. Unfortunately, when he goes down and does this animation, I get stuck under his membrane, so my combo ends up hitting bad hit zones. This sucks. This is an error on my part. I could have positioned this better, but also, like, this is just kind of the flow of how things went. It's not the end of the world. A wound opens up. We're dealing damage. It's fine. It's fine. Everything here is going pretty much according to plan. Whenever he turns around and does his little realignment attack, he'll do this if you stick behind him too much sometimes. If you just are moving to the side that he is turning, it whiffs like every single time. So I'm really confident this is going to whiff. I'm not worried about it at all. I'm going to get some damage on this tentacle. And then I deal enough damage that he gets all squiggly and falls over again. Again, if you hit certain damage thresholds, he just does this. I'm a little bit slow to react here because I thought I needed a little bit more damage, but like, whatever, we roll up and we start doing combos. Again, charge shot combo is our highest damage combo, and coming off my Ray Dow run, I was like, I'm not gonna hyper fixate on getting KOs here anymore. I'll do some setup that could lead to it, but sitting here on perfect rushing like before, no, 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 no. In this matchup, I don't need to preserve that much sharpness. I just want to deal damage. Just keep dealing the damage. It's fine. This tempered wound opens up. I'm really happy with that because I'm going to reset the knockdown with this. But I thought it would come on the hit after this. I thought I could get a charge chop and the charge chop would actually break it. So I'll go into charge chop here. What I should have done is reacted quicker and then just thrown the charge chop into a tentacle because it's better than hitting, well, I guess these are tentacles too. Throw it into an arm. It's better to hit this arm than to hit this tentacle because you can see all these white numbers. But I'm happy this hit anything at all and just whiff. And again, small mistakes like these in the context of a TA wiki run, they just happen. When I want to push for better times, yeah, I'm going to start looking to reduce these mistakes as much as possible. But it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. That's what I'm telling myself in my head the entire time. I'm just like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. The run's going really well. This is just a second or two of time loss with the damage. It's fine, keep going. And that's what I do. I immediately just stop thinking about it and go back to doing combos on his head, getting our charge chops in there. Ta-da! The head wound opens up. So I know he's going to roar here, and you can actually bypass roars using some of the iframes on the focus strike attacks. So that was the original plan. I want to upswing this so that I get the percent HP damage off the upswing, get a little bit of KO just in case a certain route presents itself, and then I can actually do plunging thrusts at the end to stack a bunch of damage because he gets really tall when he's mad. And plunging thrust deals okay damage here. It's fine. It gets me back on the ground quicker, so I don't risk like exploding to him turning into like a little molten volcano or anything. I like this routing. It's not optimal, I think, but I think it's pretty cool at the very least, and it's good enough to get me through the situation. All right, and then now he goes back to doing his body slam, and this is the routing I was thinking about for KO routing, and the reason I like this routing is right here. This time I'm going to choose to block it, and I'm going to have access to focus striking this vulnerable part. Every time he does this body slam, this is an opportunity you can get. So you focus strike this. Again, I'm going to get the KO on him. He has a rather low KO threshold, so just getting these punches in is enough to stack a really substantial amount of KO against this monster. Ba-boom. And every time you do this, this particular focus strike on the special opening, he does this reel back animation. So again, you can plunging thrust and just carve through the tentacles. I don't super think this is optimal, but it's still pretty decent damage. Gets me on the ground faster. And my only other option really is like falling bash. And I'm not sure that it deals more damage than this. I don't know. Probably does, but this is fine. This is fine. I want to keep stacking this damage up and getting in here. At this point, access to his head is going to be fairly limited when he's more active in his moveset, so I'm opting to hit his tentacles. The hit zones are still pretty good. They wound rather easily, so popping the wounds here is going to give me a few extra flinches, a little bit more time to keep hitting him. And if you do get a tentacle break, he reels back, and it's easy to chase him down and keep stacking damage on pretty decent hit zones. So that's the strategy of where we're at here. Okay, whenever he does this, he shoots these fireballs around in a semi-random pattern. It is predictable, but I see one land near me. I'm not going to risk trying to perfect guard this or anything silly. I'm just going to sliding slash my way out of it and keep moving around the monster. I see him rear up this tentacle. Again, I know I can just chop movement my way out of this, and this is going to give me pretty good uptime. No reason to get super fancy with it. Okay, now he's doing tentacle slams. I see the slam coming. I go for the guard, and it just whiffs on me. Oops. This is more my bad than his bad, but I'm going to blame him for this one because I'm feeling optimistic. I see the second one coming, though. He does these in set patterns, so I do want to get the offensive guard in. I do actually want to get a perfect guard and get the high motion value counter slash in. Ends up breaking his arm and reeling it backwards, and I'm like, okie dokie. And then he goes down again. But this time, I opt to do the perfect rush. And the reason I opt to do the perfect rush here is, again, I think perfect rush is a totally acceptable thing to do for sharpness conservation. The damage on it's totally fine. But because I landed those back-to-back upswing blows, and because I know this thing has a rather low KO threshold, I'm really confident that landing a completed falling bash is going to KO the monster. So this is the potential KO routing. If the routing had not worked out in a way where I got those 2 focus strikes earlier, I would not be going for the KO here. I want to be perfectly clear that going for perfect rush too often is not that good. The damage on it is worse than doing your other combo options. But if you're really smart about your KO routing, you can end up in situations like this, where the damage loss is offset by extending how long the monster is CC'd for. Bam, get our combo in. At this point, I know the monster's on skulls. I'm looking at that thinking, okay, he's going to start running away now. I am prepping to do a lore pod on this combo. You see me chopping and positioning for it. But he gets all wiggly and falls over again because, again, I'm passing damage thresholds at a really high rate. This is a little bit lucky. I wasn't planning on this. Everything else in this run is like mostly planned, actually. This part's not. It just kind of happens, and I'm like, oh, cool, I get to kill the monster without using a luring pod. And so I proceed to do so. I'm not counting damage for sure here, so I could have ended this sooner, but like, who cares? It's fine. The monster dies. You see me resist the impulse to end the quest immediately so I could show you my gear. This is a really, really standard 4-piece score set. This is the set that you see a lot of people running in different speedruns. There's some small optimizations you can make to it, but I really like it. If nothing changes in TU1, then yeah, this is still going to be mostly the recommended set. But I'm willing to bet things will change in TU1, but we're going to see when that happens. Yeah. I think that covers everything. I'll let this run through so you can see the end of the run. But overall, I'm a lot happier with this one than with my Arkveld or my Raydao runs. I feel like it's pretty clean, and I can be pretty proud of this one. But this time can go lower, and again, after Title Update 1, I plan on revisiting Arc, Gore, and all 3 Apexes to try to improve my times further. We'll probably do some Mizutsune and some Zoshia. We'll see how I feel about that, but yeah. So that's going to wrap it up for me on the first update. I'll see you guys after TU1. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and catch y'all later.